Hello, good evening. How's everyone doing? Just 1 second. I need to find the chat on YouTube, and I haven't. Don't know how to do it, so I can't see where all the comments are.
Bottom right. Just went past and scroll down. Right, up, stop, right.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't on this page. Sorry. Hi. Here we go. Now I'm on the right page. Hello. How's everyone doing? Okay, I'm going to start with Bitcoin. Apologies for the late start, and hopefully I make sense tonight because I'm not feeling a fabulous and 100%, but we'll give it my best shot. Okay. So if you're wondering which order of coins we're going to go in, they are, the Daleks are typing them up and they are at the top of the page. Okay, so we're going to start with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, Bitcoin, after our spectacular rally just before Christmas, has done a choppy overlapping correction. And so we are still looking for another leg higher in Bitcoin from here. Will it go from here, or will we drop one more swing lower? It's not clear to me at the moment. At the moment, this still looks like a bear flag. And if we use the 50% rule, then the 50% of this big open close of this big down candle here is still holding as resistance. We haven't moved above that, and as long as we stay underneath this 50% back of this big red candle, we're still looking lower from here. In fact, we could apply that rule even shorter term to the big sell-off we had yesterday and say that 50% of this candle, so we'll mark the open close. I've got bright red on here. But we can do this like this and say short term 3442 is what we would need to see to close above if we were going to start going higher. So 34, what did we say? 3442. First we'll make it horizontal. There it is, 3442. So if we get above that, if you're watching lower time frame, then that's the level that we need to get back above to be going back to the top of the range and then potentially break up and higher. So still on the back foot really in Bitcoin and looking lower from here. If we look at other exchanges, we see the same pattern pretty much everywhere. So in Bitstamps, then 3250, if this bear flag breaks down, our target and where we would be looking for a bullish reversal is 3250. If we take a look at, I have got crypto flu. It's been like a year, hasn't it? It's been a long time, that's for sure. Let's look at, I don't know, Bitfinex. So here we are holding above that same 786 fib level. If we lose 3466, then it's 3349. The target at Bitfinex. If we go to the daily, you can see we've got exactly the same patterns. We're holding underneath here. It's a little bit more than 50% at Bitfinex, but very small inside day in Bitcoin today. It would be a bullish harami if we went beyond 50% of this red candle that precedes it. For now, it's just a inside bar, a pause day, indecision, who knows which way yet. What I found really interesting is the low so far this year was on the 29th of January, which is the turn date. That's when this decline was equal in time to the 2014-2015 bear market. So maybe we could rally from here. I keep thinking we need to see a fifth wave down to complete this and a breakdown. But you know, fifth waves sometimes fail, so let's see. So that's where we are with Bitcoin. Not a bullish reversal yet. More than 50% of Sunday's range would be a sign that we're moving higher slowly, but really a sign that we are going up rather than down. You know, let's take this away and we'll look at these fibs here. So we're sitting on the 786 fib. Okay, and fibs are like a staircase. So when you take out the one above you, you've reversed. So here at Bitfinex, whilst we sit on this 786 fib level, which I seem to have hidden, at 3466, only a close back above 3662, and these prior highs would say we've reversed the downtrend in kind of fib terms. And then we'd be looking to climb our way back. 3,800 and reversals at a 786 fib have a minimum target of back to the 38.2. So that tells us if we do reverse here, as in we get above this 618, then our target is 39.37 minimum target. So that becomes, then this becomes our trade range from here to here. So for now, we just have to sit and wait and see if we make a bottom. We're going sideways. Some alts are doing really well. So that's seeing. I don't think the lost password is that much of a deal anymore. Like, it doesn't seem like the market goes down on bad news anymore. Now here's Ethereum looking a lot more perky today than Bitcoin, which is good to see because Ethereum's had a bit of a tough weekend, you know, and it got back on the back foot again. If I put regular candles on our daily chart, what we're looking for is a big ABC correction and then another leg higher. I was looking for a retest of this round number 100. See how if we do one more little push lower, just like Bitcoin, and this bear flag plays out, where might Ethereum find some support? Well, here at Coinbase, we've got 97.72, but pretty much every exchange I look at, kind of one leg lower and a retest of the round number 100, I think in Ethereum should find some really good support. It's weird that we didn't quite tag it. 101, 102, some exchanges. So there between 97 and 100 is where I'm looking for Ethereum hopefully to find some support yet. But if I do this as a measured move, unfortunately, fortunately, this says that we're at a 61.8 of the first swing. And so just like Bitcoin, there is potential for us to make a base here and rally. So if we break out of this sideways range, then I think you have a really good shot in Ethereum for another leg higher. And if we say that this was our first swing higher, so we do it like this, actually, I'll move it over to here. So this is our first leg higher, and this was ABC. Then our second leg higher takes us to either 149 or 150, and then 179. So potentially nothing doing though. Sideways, very narrow range in Ethereum, looking for a breakout. Now, the next one we're going to look at is ADA. And so ADA and Litecoin have been a little bit more bullish than some of them. ADA's really trying hard to make a base here. This is ADA against Bitcoin. Looking at Binance prices at the moment, but you can see we've got a solid bottom on the down here at 10,800. I had, if we go to the daily, been looking for a little bit lower, somewhere between. Let's zoom in here. We'll put regular candles on. I'll tidy this up. Okay, so we're sitting sideways. This represents ADA sitting sideways at the 50% back of the entire rally from the December lows. That was an ABC. So what we really wanted to see in ADA was ABC up, ABC back, and then another leg high. So the key question is are we finished here? I was looking for support somewhere between this 50 and 61.8. We're kind of there. Have we made an equal measured move or something like that? Not quite. So there is the potential in ADA for one more push lower down to 1,040, 1,030. But if we break out of this sideways range, having clustered up and it's 50% back, then I'm going to say I'll take it. That will be a bottom, and we probably then would look for another leg higher where the second swing retest the highs. I think 1403 would be 61.8 of our first leg, and then 1,600 would be a big ABC measured move higher from here for ADA. So sideways, need to break above 1150 to be sure we're going high. A daily close above 1150 would be a breakout, I think, for ADA. Until then, we've had an entire week now In fact, we are in exactly the same place we were really a week ago, and just need a breakout. So next, not much going on. Here's one that's a little bit more bullish. This is Litecoin. I'm going to look at Litecoin dollar. We'll start off with a Coinbase chart here. So this is another one, very similar pattern off the lows. You can see to ADA. So we've had A, B, C up. Now we're looking for A, B, C back before we rally again, potentially. I can't find a way in here to count. When I look even down underneath, I can't find a way to see that we've finished this correction in Litecoin. So whilst I like how we're making a really good base here, I could be wrong. And whilst I like how the really bullish price action it is really compared to Bitcoin, this is looking really good. The problem is that I just can't think, is normally, most corrections are 3 waves, and so far, is this it here? Maybe. Sometimes markets correct sideways in time rather than in price. And so, if we had a strong rally from here, that got us above 36.78, because when you reverse at a 618 fib, you for sure go back to the 382. So here we are in Litecoin in that golden ratio zone, stuck between the 618 and the 382. But sometimes you can extend to the 236. So if we go up here and then revert, if we reverse here or here, I'm going to say another leg lower is still a risk. So there's still a risk that we do this from either one of these two. But I think if we go beyond 36.78, we can say for sure we're probably, for sure we're in the next leg higher, and then we'd be looking for to measure these swings. So we'll measure like this. If we go 61.8 to the first swing, we go to 41.21, and if we go twice the distance, equal measured move, we go back to these lovely lows here at 48.50. So I'm not going to jerry rig it, but it's around here. If we take it from this low, it's a little bit higher, 49.33. I think $50 will be one of those big round numbers that Litecoin will try and shoot for. So maybe take some profit off a little bit ahead, because the 200-day moving average is there as well. That would be a lot of resistance. So as long as we stay under 36.78, I still think there's a risk of another leg lower. But above 36.78 Coinbase price, we should set up a swing higher. Let's look at quickly another exchange. Let's look at it. It's, we'll look at it against Tether here at Binance. I don't know what I'm doing here. But let's put the same swings on like this. Okay. So we've reversed at the 618 here, 382, and then the 236. So if we get above 36.48 at Binance against Tether, we're probably in the next swing higher, and our target's up here at 47, between 47 and 48, which is the 200-day moving average and kind of these prior lows. So, yeah, 36.48 Binance, if I've measured it right. Yeah, I have. So far, so good. You can see this looks like there's no, in fact, at Binance against Tether, we are trading at new highs, and this has got the look of a bear flag. The question here is, though, this looks like a little bit of an ABC. So then we've gone A, B, C. And so let's measure it, because we may have already have the high. No, we haven't. We've got a little bit more room, 35.41. So let's see if we get out of trouble around there. That's our resistance zone. If we get above that resistance zone, then happy days in Litecoin. Litecoin really has been outperforming. Let's look at Litecoin against Bitcoin, because this is a good looking chart, you can see. Now, this potentially, I'm not a big fan of sloping necklines, I have to say. So I'm going to take the slopey one away. And I prefer to draw this kind of horizontal like this. And make sure I've got it horizontal. So if we draw this in Litecoin Bitcoin, we could say that this is a little bit of a inverted head and shoulders pattern. So and for the first time today, we've broken above this horizontal level. And so potentially if this follows through, if we hold and find support and keep going, then potentially we should go twice this distance in Litecoin Bitcoin. That gives us a target up here at 12,717. Okay, so because remember, from the head to the neckline, you go twice that distance. So for the next little while, this is that Bitcoin really is set to outperform, Litecoin is really set to outperform Bitcoin. And when these big alts like ETH or Litecoin look like this, it's usually a sign that we're going to have a little bit of an alt season, which would be pretty nice. So if Bitcoin goes all quiet and doesn't really go anywhere, maybe we could see some of these alts get going. I'm just going to put the fibs on the other way because the fib rules are really useful. So if we do this here, what we want to see is where did we get to? They're not really here, are they? But remember what we said about fibs, when you get underneath them, they're resistance. So it's like a staircase. So you can find support. For example, this 50% level here, 50% retrace level. When we got to it, it was support. When we got underneath it, it was resistance. Well, here's the 618 level. We got underneath it, it was resistance, resistance. And now today, for the first time, we pulled back to it, found support, and we're rallying away from it. That's exactly what you want to see. So that's exactly what we did today. So good news. Now, if we use our fib targets that way, a reversal of the 618 goes to the 382. So we go twice this distance. And then this 50% level in the middle becomes pretty likely as our first target, doesn't it? So 12,566 we'll have as our target for Litecoin. I am long Litecoin, I just should disclose that. And 12,566 and then 15,500. So I've spent ages on Litecoin, but I think it's one of the better looking charts out there for sure. Okay, so go Litecoin. Next, we're going to look at Ripple and then Neo. Now, Ripple, we're going to whiz through quite a lot of these charts because a lot of them look the same and they're in very, very narrow ranges and we're looking for a breakout. And honestly, there's just nothing doing in Ripple. Look at this, our moving averages, this is hourly flatlined. We had a really nice 5-wave rally. So we should see 3 waves back and then we should see a continuation of what we hope is a new upswing. You know, this looks to me like a pretty nice irregular correction. We've pulled back to the ideal support, you know, and it's really time for Ripple, if it's going to get going, to turn around and get going. The problem is it's not really doing anything. This is what Ripple used to do before, you know, before the big rally, the first big rally. It would be very, very quiet and it would get into very tight ranges and then just explode. I think so many people are willing to jump on when Ripple's on a move. And so whilst we look like it's all very quiet and nothing much is going on here in Ripple, I think we should keep an eye on it. Like, see this wedge? I would put an alarm on the upside of this. Because if we do break to the upside again, Ripple will put another explosive move in, hopefully. So I don't want to catch it too soon, but I don't want to miss it. So I'm going to put my alert here now. Watch for, if this was corrective, then we're just, if we break out and this is just still a sideways range, then the place that we're going to fail is back at these highs. It's really important we make a new high. So if you buy Ripple on the breakout and it fails at the previous highs and comes all the way back, time to, you know, watch your risk. Don't turn it into a big fat loser, okay? Because it's just not ready. Okay, so that's Ripple Bitcoin. I'm going to look quickly at Ripple dollar. So, but Ripple Bitcoin potentially, just like Litecoin, look at this pattern against Bitcoin. Maybe all of these are about to have a really big moves again. This is another potentially inverted head and shoulders pattern. Maybe these are all about to have really good moves against Bitcoin. Obviously, they're not going anywhere if we can't make new highs and break out, but they've all got quite good potential. So if we can get out of this cluster. So let's quickly look at Ripple dollar. Sorry. So we've got this declining wedge going on in Ripple dollar, and our really big breakout will come when we break to the upside. Here is on the daily, and right now if we were to say rally from here, then our breakout level would also be this 200 moving average and these prior highs here. So pretty good resistance. It's around 0.399, so I'm going to say around 0.4, even 0.4 would be, if we rallied from here, would be our breakout level. At the moment, though, there's no sign of it. We are flatlined, going sideways, and waiting to see if we break up or down. So far, over the weekend, we made a nice little double bottom here. That means if we break out of the top, then potentially we're underway. So above 0.3197 confirms the double bottom and sees us rallying. But until then, it's pretty quiet. What does look good is this lovely 5-wave rally. That looks good. We'd like to see another one, bigger this time, right? So nothing to do, but above 0.3194, I think, in Ripple dollar would be a good sign. And then new highs, you know, that's always the best confirmation. If we fail, then it will be around these highs, and you can see there's been trouble here before. Let's zoom out. It's all around here, these lows, a little bit higher like this. Here's our sticky level around sort of 3.343. That's where it's lows, highs, highs, highs. So that will be our confirmation level if we get above there in Ripple dollar, and then we can fly. We'll look to that 200-day moving average. Okay, so let's move on, because I'm taking ages on these and I shouldn't. And a lot of them are all in the same pattern, sideways consolidation, need a breakout. NEO is a really good example of one of those. Here's at NEO. We're between the 618 and 382. We're even in tighter range like that, actually, around the 50%. If we say that this is our 50% level here in the middle, we're kind of oscillating around it. Are moving, and this is 50% from this low to the high, the rally. We've pulled back. The moving averages, the 20 and the 50 moving average, are right here in the middle. We've completely flatlined. So we've got a double top, double bottom, and we need to break out of it in NEO. And until we do, who knows which way we go. Really, you could flip a coin. Here on the, listen, this is an hourly. All of these hourly moving averages are right here in the middle at this 50% level. So just waiting for some momentum to break out. So if you're looking to buy NEO and don't want to miss it, put your alarm at 2085. Okay. I think it's the market, but thank you very much. That's really kind of you. For the likes, thank you. So the next one, I'm new to YouTube, so don't have that many yet. So the next one we're going to look at is Lumen, XLM. Now, Stellar Lumen is not. Here's a daily chart of this one. And we're really struggling. I'm going to zoom out here. So, let's hide this for a second. If we say that this was our first leg higher A, and now we're correcting it. It's taken a long time, this correction on the daily. But if this was our first leg lower, so we had an A leg and then a B leg, and then this is a C leg. In fact, we should do it like this, shouldn't we? Then this final leg lower is down here. The 618 is down here at 1832. And I'm not sure that there's much to stop us until we get there. There are these prior lows, and we're not quite there yet. There is this spike high from when it opened on this exchange. I'm not 100% sure if this is a level till I look at some other exchanges. And then if we look at maybe put those fib retrace levels back on and see where we are, line up with them, then you will see that's not quite right. That, yeah, there's a little bit more weight for this retest of this 786 fib level, but nothing to stop us, I think, until we get back down here into this range. So I'm leaving this one alone. If I look short term in Lumen, you know, this doesn't mean that if Bitcoin has a really great rally, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world, but this is a solid downtrend. We're just at new lows. There's no reason to get excited about this one yet. So I have to say that I think that it's more likely we go back to around 2,100. If I'm wrong, then taking out the prior swing high is always the first sign of a trend change. So if we're in a downtrend and we're making, like, see here, when we had this big rally. Now, if we were going to reverse the trend, if you think a downtrend is lower highs and lower lows, then to reverse that trend, we have to take out that lower high and make a higher high, don't we? And close above it. And we couldn't do it. So even this really strong rally, that's where your trend, that's where you look for, you know, trend reversals. So if we apply that theory here, then our daily trend reversal in Lumen at the moment is now around 23.85, and we're still headed lower until we turn that around. Poloniex has more. For Lumen. Thanks. No, I can't see it. Let's see. I think we're still in it. Let's say we're still in a downtrend for now, and I'll make sure I switch to Poloniex for next week. Sorry. I don't know why I can't see it. Okay, weird. Thank you. Nope. Oh, there. Let's try it that way. There we go. Thank you for that. So I'm going to go from this swing, highs to lows. I just want to check where support levels come in. It won't let me turn it off. There we go. Yikes. Underneath this 618 level is a bit of a disappointment. Let's go to all-time lows. See if we still are underneath it. We're still underneath it. Okay. So then I don't really have any reason to be holding Lumen. I think we have to wait for lower. Okay, so the next one, thank you very much, Faraz. XVG, so we're going to look at Verge. I'm going to try anyway. Here we go. Haven't tidied up this chart, my apologies. Oh. Here we go. Now this starts to look a bit better. Now, sometimes when you have a support level, which we tagged here, 165, when you get underneath them, like sometimes if you have a big bounce off the level that everybody's been waiting for, then a whole bunch of stops run underneath it, and then the market will sometimes come back and run those stops. Now, if that's all that's going on there, then there's nothing for it to keep going down. Then it'll bounce back again. When it does, you look for it to hold that level on a retest if we're going to go higher and make a kind of bottoming pattern. And that's how head and shoulders patterns form. You'll have a level, then they'll come back and retest it, run it underneath, and then when you get back above, usually we'll retest it and off we go. We haven't quite done that pattern here, but the theory is the same. So this 165 is quite a big deal, and I would like to see this hold and us rally away from here. Now, if I zoom out, is there anything else here that would make this a great level, like a big 886 retrace? That would be amazing. Probably not. But if we have an 886 fib around here, it's not really though, is it? Then 942 probably. Okay, so this is quite good because remember this rule about fibs being staircases. Okay, so you have to get back above them if you're going to go the other way. So this 886 fib and this 233 level and that swing high around here, and these highs give us our resistance that we really kind of need to get above to confirm that we are going higher. So I'm looking for support here, and then above sort of 235, 240 is a bullish reversal for a verge. And until then, I think you have to be really patient. And it feels like, gosh, you know, why would I wait till it comes all the way up here to buy more verge? And the answer is, if you go out and you look at a weekly chart or a monthly chart, you'll see that this is nothing in the big picture, and that if we do bottom here and we get above there, that our upside targets after this big ABC correction are huge. So don't worry too much about that. Remember how they can moon. So looking for a bullish reversal around 165. So here, let's go down and see how we're doing on a lower time frame, like a 4 hour or an hourly. You know, we're doing pretty good, but we haven't quite bounced off the level yet. So let's see. If we do drop below 165, then these prior lows might hold it, but otherwise I think we're back in a downtrend and there's no reason to be long verge. Let it go and let it tell you when it's finished going down. Like really, I would not hodl any of these in this market. I think that this year we'll see a bit of a bonfire. We're seeing it already. It's like the bonfire of the alts, and if it's not going to be one of the survivors, you don't want to be in it. You just don't. So yeah, 122, you see, that's too far to hodl if it's going to come all the way back there. Let's zoom down. Okay. So waiting to see if Verge will bounce, but nothing yet. ZRX is another one where you've needed a lot of patience lately in this one. And I'm going to say I'm a bit disappointed. We'll clean up the chart and we'll start again and look at why. So I keep looking for levels where I think that ZRX will find support and stop going down, and they keep losing them. So we've lost these prior lows. I'm going to put my fibs. When you have an ABC equal measured move, you can usually put your fibs across both. So for retracement levels. So the way I see it is we tried to hold this 618 fib level. We rallied and failed there and rallied and couldn't get above it. So until we can get back above it, we're looking lower from here to the 786 fib next. And that, if I can stop wobbling it, it's all the way down here at 5606. So nothing to do until then. A little bit more worryingly, if this, what I like to do is measure swings. So if I'm not going to say that's not useful, and I think that, yeah, no, better stick with that. 5606, no reason to be long. Now, if I am wrong, first of all, if we have a strong rally, see how we sat on this level for 4 days? If we get back above this level at 73.29, and I would put an alarm on it, then that would be an interesting bullish reversal. But otherwise, this level is resistance. It was support for 3 days. Now it's resistance, and we're looking lower. So leave that one alone, I'm afraid, ZRX. And I'm a huge ZRX fan, so there you go. We'll just buy it cheaper, right? So the next one is waves. Here's a much happier looking chart. Amazing to see one when we're in the top half of the range, isn't it? So here in waves, when we pulled back for this lovely pullback, it was the 50%. So that's pretty nice. Even if we measure it from the low, we didn't get that. So we're going to call this wave 1, big wave 2, this is wave 3. Now we're looking for a pullback new rally. Now, if we're still in a correction, markets that mean revert, that means markets that pull back to the 50%, tend to follow that pattern. There's quite a few coins that do that, and currencies, dollar Canadian's one that likes to do that. So having pulled back to this 50% here, we should rally at least to the 50% going this way. So this means 949. We're not quite there yet. So I am looking for it to push higher again and get to 949. Some people ask me, is this an inverted head and shoulders on a continuation one? No, it's not. And the reason that it's not is this left shoulder is really small and this right shoulder is really big in terms of time and size. And when you see this kind of lack of symmetry, it's not an inverted head and shoulders pattern. But it is quite, it's still, you know, signs of bottoming. It's, you know, holding on. We got a double bottom here. We went to twice this distance. I'm looking for this pullback look when we should be sort of 50% of here, I think. Now, here we are. I'm looking for this pullback to rally to 949 next. And if we get above that level, I'm going to say that we're probably in the next swing higher. And we can look for fib extensions from here, 13,504 and 15,300 in waves. Now, there will be one more sticky level. See these prior highs? Really, if we put on regular candles so you can see where we closed, and you see these highs, really we weren't able to close above these highs. And that lines up with the 786 fib level. So I'm going to say two levels of resistance, 9491 and then 10,978. So if you want your confirmation that we're going higher to these extension targets, and we should mark the 2618 as well up here, then this level from these high here at 10,918 will be it. So yeah, a little bit bullish. Let's look low down, because today we were looking at this instead. We needed to see a breakout, really. If this was an ABC finished, we needed to see a breakout here, and we haven't. If we break down the other way, then we are not going higher yet. So bunched up tight consolidation in waves. If we drop down this way, don't be hodling, okay? Don't be hodling, because we could just as easily go back to the lows in this sideways range. OMG is next. I haven't looked at OMG in a while. Well, I have, but still going lower. That's the problem. So let me tidy up. This is what I was looking for here. We'll start on the daily chart of OMG Bitcoin, and then we'll look at OMG dollar. So still in a downtrend since we lost this support. If we wanted to see signs of a bottom here, remember, I'm going to take that away. Remember, the first sign you're going to see is when you reverse the lower highs, lower lows thing. So this is the lower high here. If we get above it at 333, then we've reversed the downtrend if we hold above 333, and we can say that we're swinging it around and we're going to turn higher from here. If we zoom out and see where we are, you can see that this level, this pink level that I've drawn here, is a really big deal, big picture. So if we get above 333, this level at 429 should be your first target, because this is like the big swing previous high as well. And then above there we can say, okay, we are going higher. I've drawn the first 236 fib retrace, which would be like our big picture target, but that's from the highs. I think I should draw one from here and say, actually, if we did reverse here, that it would probably be a little bit lower. We'll take that away and say maybe 826, but not going anywhere really until we reverse this trend. So still in a downtrend, no support level yet, no sign of a support. And, you know, in this kind of a downtrend, it's better to wait. We could say that this is a declining wedge. We could do that. And if we draw it like this, we've got a couple of touches on both sides, haven't we? Then a breakout from this declining wedge would also be a bullish reversal, but at the moment you can see that's actually the same level, so no difference, just still, you know, grinding lower. So watch out again for that 429 level. That 429, if we do break out from this wedge, would be our target, but nothing to do really until we do. So the next one we're going to look at is Stratus. Now this has been much more encouraging, but gosh, we've got lots of red on this chart, haven't we? But no bullish reversal. So I did get quite excited with this rally in Stratus, thinking that this correction was over and we could start a new leg higher again, but we are coming back much further than I expected. So we didn't quite tag this 786. We went from the 618 to the 382. Now I'm going to look for where this is 618 of the first swing here, because this zone makes this a bullish Gartley pattern if we can rally from here. So I'd be watching it 20,800 to 21,400. I'd like to see this hold on a retest with a double bottom or something like this. And then I think that, yeah, Stratus has a pretty good chance. Now, it may be that we've already, because we've tagged this area, it may be that the low is already in. Well, fine. If the low is already in, then on the hour, I'm going to say this hourly 200 moving average. That would be a good sign that we're rallying here. If you don't use moving averages, going more than 50% of this drop here in Stratus. So at the moment above 23,700, so more than 50% of this drop would be a good sign. But yeah, another leg higher in Stratus, and maybe this bullish pattern plays out. Now the good news about a Gartley pattern is it's a bullish continuation pattern. So it says that this first leg higher, which was 5 waves, we see an ABC pullback and then another go. And here, look, you can see. Remember, in the markets, 5 waves is impulsive and 3 waves is corrective. So clearly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Stratus. We've got a good shot here if we can hold this, this being a really good support level on a retest. So keep an eye on Stratus. I think it's got a good shot. On the daily, where would we go if we rallied from here, or the weekly? Let's zoom all the way out. So 49,563 would be the first fib retrace from this high that we made in January a year ago. And that would be quite interesting as resistance, because if we did rally back to there from here, that would make it two kind of equal measured moves, you see, and that is not so bullish. So we're going to say that's our, this is also previous lows here, so that's our bearish target at 49,563, and then if we can get above that level, happy days. I would go 50% of this drop, but then the next big 236 fib target is up here at 122,000. Okay, I agree with Linus is saying wait for Bitcoin to establish a real bottom, and just after altcoins can do something. I would normally agree with that, and what you do tend to see is Bitcoin make a big move and then stabilize, and then the other coins do something. But maybe this was this big move, and while Bitcoin is doing this choppy correction, you know, some altcoins have had really decent moves. But yeah, I would normally agree with you, and quite a lot are very correlated with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up, they go as well. So I'll try and do the requests. I can see you asking for some new ones at the end. I will try and have a look. Chainlink has been amazing, hasn't it? Okay, so that's where we are with Stratus. Now, WAN. God, this is frustrating. This one frustrated me, because this was another one where potentially we had a bullish Gartley here. We had two equal swings lower. This was all set. I thought in WAN chain, let me try it on a 4-hour look here. I thought in WAN chain we were all set for another leg higher, and we didn't get it. In fact, we retested the lows and had quite a little time. On the daily, this was a swing failure pattern. So the first retest of the lows, we closed back above it. However, since then, the price action hasn't been so inspiring, and it's been like this really narrow range. So I think that people are being squeezed, and this is a little bit manipulated, it looks like to me. But if we draw these across, this is, I suppose, on a closing basis, quite key. So back above 810, let's say, would be a good place to put an alarm for WAN if you're going to try, if we're going to try again. And I probably am. And then back above 817, which is the 236 fib from these highs, would confirm it. So I would put my alarm here to alert me that we're rallying. And I wouldn't buy it until I see it above the 236. And the reason is, it's exactly the same as we just looked at with Stratus. When we get there, it's just as likely, if we get there, that that would be an ABC correction, an equal measured move. You kind of just want to see it go a little bit long beyond that. Let me, in fact, let me measure it exactly. From this high to this low, and this is ABC, then we go from there. 818 is where it's equal. So I want to see it really above 818 before I buy one again and have another go. So there we go. Linus says Bitcoin won't give 4 days for bottom as it's low at the moment. Needs much more volume. Yeah, I've seen bottoms on low volume. You know, everybody's watching. Let's put it this way. There's a lot of people on the sidelines. I think that, you know, the FOMO is strong in Bitcoin and all crypto. And people, if they see, nothing will be more bullish than for Bitcoin than seeing price going up. Let's put it that way. People will come back in. They will. It's been a very long winter in Bitcoin. Komodo. Look at this lovely bottoming pattern in Komodo here. This is Komodo Bitcoin on the daily. If I take this away, this is our fib not fib resistance, 49.66. I've drawn it at, but I think probably round number 50 in Komodo Bitcoin is a better description of the neckline of this head and shoulders pattern. I'm looking for a rally from here, a return to the neckline. Sorry, that's 75. What am I thinking? 50 is where we're at. 75 is the neckline. No. The price keeps moving. Maybe it's my eyesight. This must be, look, 60. Okay. The support here is at 50. It really likes these round numbers. And 60 is the neckline of this bottoming pattern. I like it this time because this time, when we tried to get there before, we were still in a downtrend. We had a 200 moving average that was sloping lower. This time, we've rallied above the 200 moving average, and now we're trying to find support from it and rally away. Now, if I draw, we'll put that back. Okay, how is it back at 50 now? I am losing it. 50 is the neckline. Okay, that's so weird. I'm having one of those X-Files do-do-do-do movements. So here's our sideways range that we need to break out of if we're going to make a run to the upside. Okay. Okay, something very weird is going on. $43.81 is the high of this range. That's weird. When I go down here, it says that the price of that line is 145. I know. Okay. Can we all see the pattern because my prices are jumping around? This is a bit freaky. Sorry about this. I'm going to put regular candles on. We should mark this level here. Okay. Now, what we could also draw here, remember that thing about the 618382? So we're in that 618382 zone here. The lows of this range are the 618, and so confirmation that we're going higher is actually a little bit higher than where we are, and it's the 382. So 83.42 it now says that price is. That's great, isn't it? So how did that happen? And it now says the neckline is 91.89. So I apologize. I am officially losing my marbles. But this is what I want to see, a breakout from this consolidation and then a break above whatever price this neckline is, which is now 91, 92. And then my first fib target is the round number 100 up here. So that is the 236 fib from the high that we made in January 2018 to the low that we made in November 2018. So looking very good. What the fuck? I don't know what the fuck is going on, to be honest. The price keeps jumping. Okay, my apologies. I think I'm going to move on from Komodo. 1 second. My Komodo chart's a bit messed up. I'm sorry. I know. Okay, I'll leave it. I'm sorry. I don't know. I have no idea even what went on there. Let's go and look at Zilliqa. Zilliqa is another one potentially making a really nice bottoming pattern. Now, if we talk about what makes a downtrend over, and the highs being like so higher lows, and if we're in a downtrend, we make lower highs and lower lows. And when we take out one of those highs, we then have a trend reversal. So when we look at Zilliqa short term, we had a trend reversal when we took out these highs here. Happy days. Now, and I think that I can count 5 waves up in this one. So I'm looking for a nice pullback and another swing higher in Zilliqa. So at the moment, we're sitting on 50% back. And as long as we don't go below this first wave higher here, which I think is a pivot level, if we screw it across like this, then 500, 508 should be good support. If we go down a time frame in Zilliqa, we've also got a really nice look of an ABC correction here. So I'm looking low time frame for us to make a base and rally off this level. And here on the hourly is what we're looking at. So far, so good. I'm going to say that this high is really, these kind of highs are going to be what reverses the trend at 529. And so I'd like to see a rally from here. We've had a strong rally, ABC back and a bottom. It's looking good for a bottom, but it's not quite there yet. So the next turn higher though, Zilliqa against this really good 50% back level should be a really good long entry. So that's how I see Zilliqa. You know, flat, I know these are flat daily moving averages and they're all going sideways, but it's just one of those levels that I think should work. So next one higher. Okay. So XTC. That was so weird. I thought I was having like an out-of-body experience when the prices kept jumping on Komodo. I still don't know what happened. Here we go. Anyway, here's XTZ. This one's got the look, hasn't it? It's not a reversal yet, but you know, it's a sideways range and quite bullish price action. We've held the lows for a week. Now this was our double top here. This is the level that we've got to take out first of all. And so on any rally, that's going to be our first target. So 14,900. We should put some fib retrace levels on XTZ as well, because they will help. Because our second target really we should be looking for. We'll take it from these highs. See if that works better. Kind of does. Need to put it there. So then I'm going to put my fib projections on from here, and we see where we line up. Nowhere. There we go. There. So our target for this next swing higher is going to be 16,414. That's the 127 of this correction and the 382 from the highs. So 16,422. What would be cool would be, and add more weight to this as a target, is if we measured equal swings. So if we measure from this low, sorry, let's do it like this. If we measure from this low to this high, and we project it from this low, if they line up, and they do. So that's our target then, 16,422, and looking for a breakout of this sideways range in XTC. So here in XTC, let's put my Heikin-Ashi candles on. Here's our sideways range, and here's this hourly 200 moving average. It's a simple moving average. That's what keeps capping us. So your breakout is going to be when we get above this level and this 100 moving average here. It's around 11,400. If we can't, then we haven't broken higher, but that's what I would be looking for. If you want an exact price, I would put the 236 fib on it. We're nearly there. We've just got to get above that 200 moving average as well. 11,245. Say 11,400 to be sure. That would be your long entry for XTZ. Okay, so your first trouble zone is then going to be the previous highs, because they're always trouble, here at 14,950, and then your target is 16,422. I think it looks nice. Looks good. Okay, XTZ. GNT is next, which is Golem. I've always found this a weird one. Golem. Now, we're very close to previous lows in Golem. Very close. And it's one of those things that sometimes you think, God, you know, just, does the market want to retest it or not? So I'm going to say that these lows are really our support, and our resistance are these prior lows and highs here. And we're stuck in a sideways range. And all the way down, it's been like a staircase for this in Golem. So if we look at these, for example, these previous lows here, those were the highs. We got stuck on this staircase. Now we're on the next one down. So to get out of it, we need to break today's, this week's high, or today's high. So we've had a pretty good rally today, but is it enough to get us out of trouble? No, it's not. We really do need to hold above 1700 to get us back in the next staircase higher again. Otherwise, this is just resistance, and we could look lower from here. So if you were watching this, I would go all the way down to a 15-minute. This is our level that we need to overcome. We got rejected there once, 1700. So if you were waiting to buy some more Golem or wanted confirmation that we were going higher, that would be it. But otherwise, I'm afraid it's still sideways for Golem, and a little bit difficult, really. We just risk that we go, one more push down, especially if you consider that they say that most ending legs are 5 waves. If that's the case here in Golem, here's 1, 2, 3, 4. We could still see that one more. So I'd be a little bit more careful. Above 1700, I like it better. So the next one we're going to look at is ZEC. This one keeps breaking my heart because it keeps going lower as well. Slow death. So, and just like Golem that we looked at, each one of these levels that support, becomes resistance when we get underneath it. And so here now we've got this spike low here and we're underneath it. If we go down to an hourly, you'll see what I mean about support and resistance. Let me fill it in here. Okay. So this was the resistance yesterday, and now we're underneath it. We've tried twice to get back above it. So still in a downtrend for Zcash. Where are we likely to go back to? Let's see. Because we may, in this one, have run out of lows. Let's see. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh. Yeah, so now, because we're at new lows, we're going to do fib projections from each of these corrective swings. So we're going to look for the 113 from this swing, which is down here, and then we'll look at this swing. We'll see where, if anything lines up that says maybe this is the target. So it kind of lines up, not really very well though, does it? Yeah, Zcash. Look out below, I'm afraid. I think at least we go to 0.01099 next, whilst we hold below. So, yeah, no reason to buy that one yet. 0.01099 is quite a long way. I wouldn't honestly be holding on. Let's just see where we are from here. Now this support level was potentially this 1272, in which case we could find support a little bit before then, 0.01231, but you wouldn't want to hodl it all the way down there, would you? So if it's in your bag, get rid of it. Okay, so that's Zcash against Bitcoin. Honestly, get rid of it. Like, even if it's a loss, because okay, put whatever level you sold it at, okay, put an alert at that level. And then if it drops down and comes ripping back up again, buy it back again if you want to ride it back up. But you know, the market, very rarely, if you have a bad one, you know, depending on the market to pay you back like it owes you has never really worked for me. It's much better to take the money out of something that's not working and let something that is working pay you back, because, you know, Zcash doesn't owe you. So Zcash against US dollar, where to put your bids? At the moment, I'll tell you Zcash, which exchange. We'll look at Zcash US dollar bit tracks. Okay, I'm just going to see where these say the lows come in. Between 39 and 40, I would say. Maybe 41. This is the zone. I would say I would look between 39 and 40. I'm just going to do one more. Yeah, no. Now, if we look against the dollar, let's clean up here. Because against the US dollar, we've broken this support. So when you do that, sometimes you can get a little early warning. So today we're underneath this support level. Now, is it a false breakdown, or this is what you want to know? Because we've been underneath here before, but we've got back up again. What your signs are that this is real and that we're going to stay underneath it is if you try and get back and can't get back above it. And so far that's how it's looking. Now, we're not at new lows, but if we do carry on lower here, then I'm going to say that it doesn't look very good, and at the moment it looks like it could be trouble. So against the US dollar, it's not quite the end yet, I agree. But 47, you need a really solid close above 47.85 to see if it can still go high. You have quite, John. Of course we'll do Walton. Don't worry. I will do some more at the end. So that's Zcash, ZEC. Okay. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I just spoke to him. Hi, John, again. Thanks. Okay. Now, if we keep going lower here, yeah, 40. If we drop, then between 40 and 39 are where I would have my bids in Zcash, ZEC. Okay, next one is PPT. Sorry, I seem to be slow tonight. Populous. Here's Populous. So in a really kind of cool support area, I suppose, and hanging on by its teeth. Everything has flattened out in Populous. So the daily moving averages have got flat. We're going sideways, but we're not really making any progress. You see how since we had this drop at the end of December, every time we've tried to rally, we have got stuck at this daily 50 moving average, which is now at 37.50. So I know WAN, I lost a bit of money on WAN as well. Sorry. Okay, so we're sideways approaching the lows. Unless we get above this 50 moving average, that's going to be like a early warning of a breakout. We could also draw this, couldn't we, as a bit of a channel, if you like, whatever, or a wedge consolidation, but I'm finding it quite hard to, let's see if we extend it this way. Yeah, it's one of those tricky trend lines. If we put it this way, maybe. So we're going to say a close above this daily 50 moving average at 37.60. That would be your best indication. So a daily close, that would be a good indicator that we are on the move. And then, however you draw your wedge consolidation from this high or from this high, then we'd be looking for a breakout. But above the daily 50 usually gives a really powerful move. So I'm going to say that this is just sideways, no up, no down until we do. But at the moment, and let's call that level where it is at now, 37.60. Above 37.60, you should see some really strong upside in Populous. A bit like this first big rally that we had in December. We need a second leg, so we've gone up A, we need A, B, C, and then another one higher. And if we do, then your first target, so if we get above 37.60, first target is 47.17, and then 55.55, and a retest of the highs at the moment. If we keep going lower, then those levels change. So it doesn't look like a market that wants to go down, but it's not going higher yet. And that would be, for me, the best indication that we're going higher. Yeah, that's Populous. VERI is next. Veritasium. Can't remember who asked for this one, Veritasium. And for some reason, my chart's disappeared. I really am in the twilight zone tonight. I don't know what's going on. Oh, no Veritasium here. Let's go. Has that one stopped? Let's see. Veritasium, Bitcoin. Now, here's a really... This one's really easy in a way when you look at it. 5 waves up, so I like it. 3 waves back. But every time we've rallied since October, we've stopped at the 200-day moving average. Now, the good thing about going sideways for as long as we have in Veritasium is the 200-day moving average has come down really low. So now, whereas up here we needed to get above, 7,200,000, to get be bullish here, down here at these highs, we haven't got that far to go. So 0.004045. 0.004045. Not only that, but if I zoom in a bit and I look on a 4-hour chart, this has a bit of a 40045, right? That was our long entry. And if we ignore this spike which didn't break out, then we've got ourselves a head and shoulders pattern here. So here's our left shoulder, head, and this is the right shoulder. It's a bit of a funky double bottom head. But either way, if we look at this as a close, then this is our level. It's actually a little bit lower, isn't it? Daily close. And that's our 404 200 moving average here as well. So that's where we want to get long if we can get above it. And whilst we're underneath it, the risk is that we're still in a downtrend and that we continue lower. But if we get back above that 404 level, new uptrend and a massive breakout on the daily, because then we would be back above this 200 moving average, and a very big deal. So if this was our first swing higher and this was just a correcting and we're just making corrective patterns here, then let's measure 0.006045 is your first target, and then 0.008079 would be your second target. Now that is quite two very good levels really, because if we draw these support and resistance levels, they all line up. So this is our first target here, then this would be these lows here would be our second target. Line them up so they both touch there. Target 1, target 2, but unless we get above 0.00404 and get out of this sideways range, potential inverted head and shoulders pattern, we're not going. Now this level, see these previous highs, they will be trouble, but this is not a bigger head and shoulders pattern. Why? Because this is a small left shoulder, big head, and then this is too big. Okay, there's no symmetry, so that's not a very cool inverted head and shoulders pattern. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is BQX. I apologize, I do have a bit of flu, so if I screw up tonight, then that's going to be my get out of jail card. Now, I keep looking at BQX and saying, oh, are we going to get out of this range? Is this a bottom? It looks really good. Have we done enough correction? Are we going to go higher here? Because this rally was fantastic. Like whenever you see an impulsive move like this, you want to see a pullback and then jump back on, right? For the next leg higher, which hopefully will be bigger. Well, so far it hasn't happened, but I keep hoping in ethos. I thought initially this level, so we could have a really nice symmetrical head and shoulders would be good, but that didn't happen. So now we're looking at fib retraces from this wave here. And we're at a 786 fib level. So far so good. That's still in the realms of a bullish reversal, and if it's not the low, then our first target would be the 382. So that's where our target is, 64.31, if we can rally from here. I want to see a close above the 20 moving average. So far, no banana. So in fact, today's high was just underneath it, so we don't have to go much to get out of this zone, but it's from those highs like that. There we go. Close above those highs. So it was tricky on the 4-hour, but we didn't quite do it. Until we do it, let me make sure that's level. Until we do, so this level that we need to close above is 42.95. A close above 42.95 and we are on our way in BQX. So I would put my alarm. In fact, I'm not going to put my alarm before I go to bed, but this is one of the charts because I like this look and I love how the moving averages are bunched up here. This is going to be one of the first charts that I look at in the morning. Now, if it goes without me, you know, and it's broken out, that's fine. I'll buy a pullback, any pullback I can take in Ethos. So 64.31 is our target. And see how we've got a double bottom here. So double bottoms, if this is a double bottom, this is our double bottom confirmation level here. And when you have a double bottom, you go twice the distance of the double bottom for your target. So that would mean like this. And so that adds weight to our 38.2 for the target, because it's also our double bottom target in Ethos. Okay, next one we're going to look at is GNO. That's weird. GNO, GPT. Oh well. Gnosis. Let me see. I've got the wrong chart here. Okay, GNO. This has got another, this is another one with a really kind of good look of a bottom forming. You know, we've been downtrend, 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 and then flat moving averages. Everything just, is it a bear flag? And are we just going to break down and do another swing lower now we've consolidated? Or are we going to rally from here? If we break this lower trend line and get back underneath this 50 moving average, I would say get out of the way, because it likely is another swing lower and we couldn't even get off the lows in correction. But if we can get above this daily 200 moving average and these prior highs, then we should be on our way at 004. Now, until then, you know, it's just another one, sideways range. All of these coins, right, that are going sideways like this with Bitcoin, it doesn't mean that you are, it means that whatever Bitcoin does, they're going to do too. So whilst they're going sideways like this in a very tight range with Bitcoin, if the value of Bitcoin has gone up, then the value of your altcoin has gone up, and vice versa. So if you really want to know what's really happening, you kind of need to look at it against the US dollar or a fiat currency. So wedge consolidation in GNO, hoping for a breakout to the upside, but at the moment it's just tracking whatever Bitcoin is doing. And let's see. Let's take a look at it against the US dollar or Tether. Kraken, you can do it against the US dollar. Completely flatlined, hasn't it? Just a bit like Bitcoin, really. Completely flatlined. It's a bit clearer where our breakout level is, isn't it? Here at $14. So above $14 would be a bullish reversal. Just going to mark where that's 618. I think we're in that 618.382 zone again. Here we are, 618.382 zone, the twilight zone. If we do one more step lower, then we'd look at this 236. But yeah, I did one earlier. You'll have to rewind it. There's actually probably a little bit better support here from these lows at 9.89. So 9.89 is really the zone support. And above 13.45, a daily close above 13.45, GNO US dollar is another swing higher. Nothing to do until then, really, unfortunately. We've got to take out some of these highs to reverse the trend. Hello, Gaith. BNB. Now, I've been in BNB for a while. And some very good news tonight, first of all, in BNB, because in Binance Coin Bitcoin, this has been massively outperforming Bitcoin. Whatever crypto is doing, BNB has been massively outperforming Bitcoin. This rally here if from the lows in Binance Coin. I'm going to draw it from the lows. Was a 61, was a 50%. It's a bit messy, but it was 51%, 50% reversal. Now, when you see that, you're looking for 50% going the other way in a bit of a pattern. And if you go beyond that, then you can usually say that we've broken the pattern. Well, here was the 50%, and we went a little beyond it, and then we had a big pullback. But now we've rallied strongly, and we've pushed right through that 50% level. So this is looking really good. Also, if we do draw this as a kind of resistance, previous highs. Remember, previous highs are what you need to go above to reverse the trend. So this is a big deal, support and resistance level, as well as 50% level back that we've pushed beyond. And even if we count these highest highs here, we are above them and beyond them today. So in Binance Coin, Bitcoin, we're on the push higher. I have drawn projections from each of one of these corrections. The next target for me is 22,392 and then 22,392 and then 23,700 for Binance Coin against Bitcoin. So no matter what Bitcoin does, I think Binance Coin is outperforming it and set to well outperform it. And we could see 25,500 next in BNB Bitcoin. So I love it against Bitcoin. Let's look at it against the dollar though, because you do want to make sure it's actually going up as well. We'll do it against Tether. And happy days. So we're not quite out of trouble yet. We did have a really strong support and resistance level that was trouble for quite a long time. We're back above it now. But if I do the 236 fib from this high to this low, we do really need to overcome that. And that's at 7.27. And we haven't quite done it. And we haven't quite got our new high yet either in Binance Coin Tether. And it's a bit of a concern because this looks like a bit of a rising wedge. So I'm a bit of a long-term holder of this one, but believe me, if we break this lower trend line and this daily 50 moving average, I'm going to be out. But otherwise, I'm holding to see if we can go beyond these highs and hopefully to the bigger 236 fib. This is from this swing high to low here. But if I draw it from the high highs and the whole ABC in BNB, then my target really should be at 9.09, these previous lows and the 200 moving average. So far so good. The problem is this chop, you know, it makes it look like you'll see a break and then, you know, another one. That's all. So thanks, Lars. I just hope I'm making sense. Like, I looked at that Komodo chart and I couldn't see that the numbers wouldn't stay still, which was scary. So let's see. As long as I'm not talking rubbish, we'll keep going. So the next one we're going to look at is pay. There's so many charts like this that are sideways. The problem with pay is that although our moving averages are flattening out and we're looking for a bottom, and we are looking for a bottom with flat moving averages like this, we didn't make a new high, and it's really sideways consolidation when you're like this. We're going back and forward between them. So let's 618 reversals, 236. So in pay, I really, unfortunately, don't see any reason to be long. I think that there's quite a big risk that we retest the lows in this one. And I'm going to take these away because it's a bit random. Okay, so we're going to just look at this most recent swing lower for where we might find some support. Okay, this was a 786 reversal. That means you go at least to the 382, which was here, and sometimes to the 236 fib. And it looks like we've tried to rally off it and we're losing it, which is not very good. It means that we may have a really, really deep retrace or a double test of the lows. So if we see new lows here in pay and you're hodling, I really would get out. I think it's a great level for a reversal, but we haven't seen a sign of it yet. You know, no sign of a new high at all. At a minimum, we have to take out the most recent swing high, which would be here, 7,560. That's what we would need to get above. Until then, you know, we're still in a downtrend. If we get above there, then potentially we come back and we test these previous highs and we give ourselves a sideways range like this. But at the moment, it's at a good level, but it's not looking very good price action at the moment. Okay, that's pay. NCASH is next. Not good enough to buy anyway, let's put it that way. So here's NCASH. Another one. This is a daily chart of NCASH. We've got a quadruple bottom, so it's a proper bottom. And we can't break out of the range. Our range was bigger, we've made it smaller, but you know, there's nothing to do until we break this to the upside. So above 58, I'd be excited about NCASH. And if we drop below 47 on a close, so actually below 46, I would look out, because the next Fibonacci support is at 33, and that's a lot to give back. So don't do it. Nothing to do until, and I'm sorry I don't have any more insight than this, you know, NCASH F. Now, sometimes the ETH charts, especially if they're like low numbers, they're a bit easier to read, aren't they? I agree with you. So we're bouncing off the 1272. We're not going to go to the 1.618 because it's a negative number. So this is a good level. As long as it holds on a retest and we don't go underneath 1197, we should see another swing higher. And look at these daily moving averages. Like, look how bunched up we are. Really. Come on. It's like you want to go, let's get going. I like the look of this because it's a 50% retrace as a level. I like the level because it's all of the daily moving averages here. So this is another one where we're at the right price. We just need it to go up higher. So nothing yet. Now, above that daily moving average, which was today's high, would be a good sign. Even when we draw it on an hourly, it's such a tight range, isn't it? Right. Let's do this. We'll say, okay, here's our above 1566, we should rock and roll in Nucleus Vision. F. I'd put an alert there. Until then. Okay, so the next one I'm going to look at is, we're nearly there, and then I'll do Walton, and then I'll see if I can do some more, but I'm struggling a bit. NMR. Numeraire, NMR. So this is a cheery little coin, isn't it? I have put my correction on like this, but I'm going to go to 4 hour. I think I might have drawn this wrong. Okay, I have. Okay. So we're sideways at the previous highs in this coin. If we look at it, here's our previous opening highs, and it's a big round number, 100,000, and we're going sideways at it. If we can break the highs, so here's our consolidation, and we've got a double top now. A double top is always a warning, sign of really we've run out of steam when we can't exceed the previous highs. And if we break the low in the middle, we will go twice this drop. So the low in the middle is here. And if we go below it, we will go twice this distance lower. You can see there, here we had a double top, didn't break the low in the middle, carried on higher. So if we just pull back to the lows, the bottom of the range, happy days, we should carry on higher. If we break these lows, we'll go twice this distance back. That's just how the rules work. So sideways consolidation, as long as we stay above 89,000, we can look to go higher. And if we can trade above 109,000, we're looking for 120,000 and then 146,900. 146,900, which is the 1.618 extension up there. Okay, that's numera. In the middle, even if we look underneath, I don't think it'll add anything to really, you know, it's just a sideways range with a double top. Okay, so the next one we're going to look at, so a sideways range in an uptrend, waiting to break out to the upside, is the best way to summarize NMR. So BNT is next. Which is Bancor. I'm charting it at Binance. I hope that that's the right one. Big picture, this is at pretty scary levels, if you can see. 14,142 was the previous low. We retested it in December, and we're trading underneath it on the weekly. This is kind of quite crucial for Bancor, because if we can't get back above it, we are, you know, in a lot of trouble and headed lower. And yesterday we tested it and bounced off it. This is exactly what you don't want to see, really, when you get underneath a level. If you're bullish or looking for it to go higher. So here's our level underneath resistance. And so, you know, I think if we break these lows, if you're still hodling some, if we break these lows, I would say bye-bye and let it go. Now, where would we go next? Likely these, you know, I hate to say it, but spike lows very often get retested. And we should put this 1.618, that's further down. We're not going to go there. So, yeah, watch out. Any lower in Bancor, and I would let it go. If I don't think it's any better in Bancor if we check against the dollar, just to see. Well, we're not at new lows yet, but see these closing prices? If we just any close below this low, see, this is what we did with the spike. We had a run, but we closed back above it. If we close back above 0.459, I would say time to get out of Bancor. Otherwise, if you're in it and it's down here, then you might as well just sit and wait and see. The next one is Status Network. This has been much better. Now, another one, consolidating sideways and in between moving averages. So this is really cool on our daily, because we know that if we close back underneath the 50, we're going back to the bottom. And if we can get above the 200 moving average, which was the high 2 days ago, we are going back to the top of our range. And hopefully a new swing. This is like a pullback retest. So otherwise, there's really not very much. And you know, markets have memories. So when they get in a sticky range, when you come back to them, what you tend to see is sticky price, as in you get stuck in a range. And if we look here before in this range that we're in status network, you can see that we got stuck in this range from August all the way till November. It was a very tricky range that we're in, and we're back in it again. Now we're bouncing off the lows of this range, and it's a strong pivot level, so this is really good support to maybe buy against and see how we go to the top of the range. But it's still a tricky range until we get out of it. You can see, even if we lower it to these lows. So this is our 618382 sticky range in status network token. I do like it to go to the top, but no more than that really. So making a pretty good base here. If this is an hourly inverted head and shoulders pattern to take us back to the top of the range, then our neckline is around here. It's at 560. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder. If we get above 560, we're going to go back to the top of the range, which is anywhere between sort of 610 and 630. And then above there, we will go fly, hopefully fly, but very tough resistance. Okay, next one we're going to look at is status network token. Raven. Everybody wants Raven. Everyone wants Raven to fly, don't we? So I'm going to look at Raven on the daily. As you can see, I've been plotting it and looking for support for some time and hasn't really been working too well. Now I've got my fib projections on this big bounce here, okay, and I'm going to do and add another one. These were quite messy up here, but there it is. Yeah, I'm going to rely on the most recent one, this one here, because this 1272 works so well. And I'm going to say that it looks like in Raven coin against Bitcoin, we're headed back to retest the lows, which would be the 1618 from this bounce. And unfortunately, that looks like where we're going. I'm going to see if, now this is the most recent bigger bounce, I think. So if we project from here, we can see where our potential supports are in this swing as well. And if we do this, you can see that potentially we're at a support level here at 295. Now, if that's going to turn us around, we're going to get back above these highs. That's what we'll have to do for it to be reversal from this level. So we could bounce from here, but only if we get above 321, and the previous highs here are we really on our way higher and this low. So otherwise, I think down between 250 and 260 are where we're looking for support next in Raven. So, and a retest of the lows. Sorry about that. Okay. Three-eyed Raven. I know. Like potentially we could, okay, whenever you're looking for a bounce at a level, okay, you want to see a change in behavior, like in a downtrend. This is what a downtrend looks like. Sharp drops and then consolidation, and sharp drops and then consolidation. So the best sign that this level is going to hold is this wedge, rising wedge, breaks lower here in Raven, retests the low. So this is what a bullish reverse. We retest the low and then we make a sharp move, and then we do this and we consolidate. And then you can say, oh yeah, then that looks like the start of an uptrend. We've got strong up moves and consolidation. But unless we see that, we're still going lower and potentially to 250, 260. So that's Raven. Sorry, it's not better news. Raven peeps. So let's look at some vibe. Now, I like vibe. I would like it if vibe here. So we keep looking at this 236 fib level. We've been above it once. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to stick this on the high now. Okay. I had been looking for vibe against Bitcoin to come a bit lower, down here to around 867. But it's really liking it around these daily moving averages. And so potentially, I'm going to take this away and tidy it up, potentially we could rally from here and the low gets front run. I also think that this has got a really nice look of an inverted head and shoulders pattern as well. Another one I know. There seems to be a lot of them out there, but let's move it up. So there's this left high. I much prefer head and shoulders patterns with horizontal levels. And if we look, the shoulders are kind of equal. So we're going to say, okay, we're going to get excited if we get above 1,085. And then we're going to get really bullish if we get above 1134, which is a 236 fib from this high. And then we'll go back to these highs and our head and shoulders target. So, yeah, I think it's got a good look of a base. Taking out those previous highs would be it for me. And then 1369 would be the target. But probably this high, because this is what would the next kind of resistance anyway, in this zone, if we reverse here. So vibe potentially is doing it. Now, very often if you get stuck at on a rally, it's always at the 50% level, so of the most recent swing. Just kind of one of those places. And if we look here, we can see that that's where we are stuck, 50% of this high to this low. So we just need to go that little bit further. So watch out we don't reverse here. Very often it's 50% back and then another leg lower. So if we're not going to break out and we are going to do this other leg lower, if we reverse and we go red here and then we get back under these moving averages, or potentially if we draw it as trend line support like this, I think if we drop under there, then that lower target that we've been waiting for is probably where we end up going to. But then above this 50% level, yeah, that would be it. Neckline, and then on our way higher. So status network token, potential, lots of potential, but not quite there yet, back at the neckline. Sorry, that's vibe. Oh, I'm losing it. Vibe has lots of potential as an inverted head and shoulders pattern above 1,090. Okay, I'm going to do BTT and then I'm going to do Walton. BTT. I feel such a muppet. First of all, I looked at BTT and said, yeah, I'm not touching it. It's a shit coin. No, not that. This one. I'm looking at the wrong one. Hold on. BTT. So I marked all my levels in this one. And this is the high this morning. I can't believe I was looking for a big pullback. Anyway, let's mark our fib levels on. Okay, so this is a good lesson for how you draw them. And we'll look at it on an hourly. Oh no, what the hell? Okay, losing my marbles. And it has literally just kept going. It's just, there you go. Now, using my trading system, we've had 2 hourly pullbacks today to get in. In fact, only one. It's just gone up in a straight line. So the next resistance for me, you can see, I draw fibs on the corrections, and I look for the 1.618, 2.618. Sometimes the 3.618 will stop you, and we had a little pause here on the 15-minute ahead of it, but really this is still going higher. And 2,600 is next, and then, sorry, I need to, 2,600 I think will cap us today, but 6.854 is the next one, fib level if we don't. So I need to draw that in. So that 3,500. So 2,600 and then 3,500. I need to put regular candles on. There we go. 2,600, 3,500. Next fib projection level if we don't stop there. We stopped very nicely at the 2.618. I have a lot of confidence that 2,600 will probably be the high for today, but then 3,500 next. Already 27 in Binance, is it? Okay. Let's go back and look in Binance. Yeah, we seem to be if I put it on here, just gonna make them all dark. Okay. Now here, when I drew it on the chart that I got at Binance, I put my fib on from this high to this low, and we're looking for extensions. So see how we stopped here at 22, 28 in Binance next. But the good news is, what did we say here? 3,500 and 3,700 at Binance. So if we trade above 28, the next target zone, depending on which one you're on, will be between 3,035 and 37. Okay, 35 and 37. BTT is connected to Tron, and a lot of people who were holding Tron were a bit upset that BTT was created when they thought Tron should have been used. So it's been a bit of a downer for TRX. It's definitely caused it a bit of a setback, and you know, TRX holders are a bit upset, and I don't blame them, but we haven't really collapsed in TRX, let's put it this way. We held the support that we were looking for. I think that we are going to see a bit of wedge consolidation. What I like about Tron is how we're holding above these previous highs, and that's where I'm looking for a pullback. But that's how BTT is connected to Tron, yeah. So let's look at Walton and then see where we're going next. Okay. So we're going to look at Walton. We're looking at Walton against Bitcoin first off. Now, this is one of those ones where you would be really bearish, wouldn't you? Because we've got underneath these new lows, and you'd think that this would be resistance and we would keep going. But in fact, what's happened in Walton is we're still going sideways. And if we look back, actually, we're not really at new lows. Now, the 886 is not always the final. Sometimes there's a 940. Now, and this is a fib level. So, and we are actually going sideways at it. Now, I know you're all going to go, where the hell did 940 come from? Okay. So if the 618, if 618 is the 618 level, okay, 786 is the square root of 618, and 886 is the square root. And if we keep going that way, then 942 is the next one in the sequence before we get to evens here. 1. We're not quite on it. Let me just... Damn magnet. Let me put it on. There. Okay, now we're on it. So 31.25 is our support and resistance level. So this looks like one of those where we kind of should have retested the level, but we've overshot it. I think if we don't make a new low in Walton and we get back above 31.25, that potentially we've made a bit of a nice bottom, potentially. But that's a big, we've got to do at least that because we're in a downtrend and we are underneath the previous support level. So it does become really important that we get back above 31.25. But if we can, I think we'll go back to the top of this double bottom range, which is then here at 3,500, and then above 3,500, we'll go back to the 200-day, and we could start talking about it. This is one of those rounded retest levels, if you like. So we have, or an Adam and Eve double bottom. So you have a spike bottom and a sharp bounce, followed by a rounded retest of the level. But that's only going to work if we get back above this 3,500 level. So some potential, and I would definitely buy a little if it got back above 3,500 myself. Okay, so let's take a quick look at how it looks against the dollar and see if that, let's look at it against the dollar with TradingView because it doesn't have enough history. If we look at, because we're like, have we really got a chance here? If we look at Walton here against the lows in the dollar, we're not actually at new lows yet. And so this does look a bit like sharp rally and potentially corrective. So got to get out of the channel if we're going to go higher from here, but declining wedge. So that upside trend line would be definitely the trigger in dollar, and then we'd look for these highs. Remember, in a downtrend, you've got to take out the previous swing high to reverse the trend. Otherwise, you're just going sideways. So in Walton against the dollar, that's at 1.465. Above 1.465, and we've got a new uptrend going on. So it has potential. This flat sideways will resolve one way or another, but let's see. Okay, so that's everything. Sorry, I'm oh, Digibyte. Hello, Bojan. Let me see if I can squeeze in any more. I certainly haven't looked at Digibyte for quite a long time. Right, so I'm going to start on a weekly chart. This is quite, and I'm going to hide all these moving averages and we'll just look at where we are in terms of horizontals and stuff. So Digibyte is a really good example of a 786 has a first target of a 382 when you reverse. So from this low to high, we reversed at the 786, went back to the 382. This is the fib level, key fib level support. And if we lose it in Digibyte, we're going to see one more swing lower to 164. So let's see where our moving averages are as well, because I think I wouldn't be too... If we have a close below 246, I think that we will probably drop to this 886 fib level. Even though we've got the 200-day moving average here, it might cause us a bit of concern. If we have a false break lower and we find support on it, we're going to need to see a pretty sharp rally back that gets us back above 246. Otherwise, this lower level is where we're going. It's not any reason to buy this one yet, and I wouldn't be short Digibyte either. I just no reason. You know, the problem, yeah, this 246 level is going to be key. Let's just see how much support is down around here. Quite a lot, isn't there? Anyway, very key support at 246. No reason to buy. This isn't a swing failure pattern or anything like this, but if we bounce hard off the weekly 200 moving average, then I would maybe have a go. But in DigiBuy, I no reason. So Theta and Nano. Let's take a quick look if I can find Nano, and then Nano and Theta. This is another one like retesting, kind of quite important support zone, you know. It's a bit messy, but it's all around here. Okay, and to see where we go next, if we don't hold this support, we need to draw our fibs from the low here to the high. So great. Okay, so this is the two fib levels that we're stuck between. So we're going to be bullish if we get back above the daily 200 moving average and this 618 level. I'm going to put them on the right so we can see where they are and make them darker. And then the bottom of our range is 2,212. And until we break out of it, just flat. You know, this is ABC up and nothing we can do, really. I would, if I was looking to buy Nano, rather than these interim lows, I would look for a retest of 2212. If you were holding it and hoping that this holds, this is where you're dead wrong underneath this level. And a 786 level is very sharp. A 618 level is messy. See here? When we pull back and we test the 618 and we go beyond it and it's still fine and we still bounce to the 382, 786 fibs aren't like that. If you close underneath it, you're going down. That's it. So 2212 is really important support. And I would get out if we get underneath it, because the next, the next fib support would be the 886. And that is at 1772. So bearish for now. How long should I let something go sideways until I give up on it? If it breaks the lows, like when it goes sideways, it gets in a range, okay? And you know, lows very often get retested. That's why we have double bottoms and triple bottoms, and it's like this Nano chart is not a good example. Bitcoin, for example, almost always retests. Let's look at Bitcoin. It almost always retests levels with a double bottom, and it's very good at the second test at going just beyond. So here we made a low in Bitcoin. Okay, and then we went sideways and we went sideways and retested it, and this false breakdown gave us the momentum for a big rally. Here in Bitcoin, we made a high here, and then we went sideways for 5 days, and then the false break higher was the momentum for the sell-off. Bitcoin loves to false break levels. I'm really hoping we see this here, but this is what I mean. Even when you look at highs and lows in Bitcoin, they're very rarely one touch, you know. And so I think you do need to give it a chance. Here we would say this was a sideways range. Here, this is a daily chart, remember? And so yeah. I'm kind of one that you decide how much you're going to risk when you buy something, and you put your stop on underneath the bottom of the range, and as long as it doesn't go down, eventually it should go up, right? Maybe, but maybe I'm wrong. The thing is, in these, if you're in a coin and you're looking at a chart against Bitcoin, then if your chart is completely flat in a sideways range, it's doing whatever Bitcoin is doing. So if if Bitcoin is going up, then the value of your sideways altcoin is going up, and vice versa. If it's going down, then the value of your sideways altcoin is going down. Oh, Link, I forgot Link. Yeah, let's have a quick, I don't know if I've got Link ready. Hold on. Sorry. I might have to call it quits because I feel like hell. Sideways. No, this is another one. Now, let's zoom out on the daily. So, here in Link, from this low to high, we pulled back to the 382 fib. I'm going to take away that thing as the previous highs. We pulled back to the 382 fib, and I'm going to put regular candles on. And we bounced from it. We're coming back to retest the lows. This 382 fib is also the low here, high here, low here, daily 50 moving average. So there's a lot of support here in Link. So if I was holding on and I looked at this price action, which in the middle looks a bit like a wedge, I would say, okay, it's probably going to break lower. It looks like it is with these moving averages because we're stuck under them. But this is really good support at these previous lows, and this level here, which I can't quite read, 10,634. So another way to see if this is our first swing of correction, where would the second swing take us? I've got to make sure I draw it properly. 10,226. So that's where I'm wrong. Now, if I go back to the daily, yeah, 10,226 then. So a false break of this 382 level, which is possibly a bit messy. It's like a 618. I would say, I think on the second swing, this is where the support will be. And if we go beyond that, then I would probably get out. So, yeah, 10,226 is where I think this will pull back to. And I'd look for a false break and some support there. And mainly because of that daily 50 moving average. Now, if we close down here and we close under this daily 50, so if we come down, say, and we close on the lows, in other words, we have a day where we stop down here. If the next day we try and get back above that level and then we can't, then that would be for me the bit, let's go down to a 4 hour. Then that for me, if we try and then we can't get back above it, that if we then break the lows, then I would sell it. Okay, but I'd be looking to get above it really and carry on. Okay, good night, everybody. Sorry I'm under the weather. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye.